Yes, sir.
Okay. Hello friends, this is Professor Rahul Bhavne, and in the heat transfer subject, today we will see lump heat capacity analysis. So before start the actual derivation, let me explain what is the lump heat capacity method or analysis. Till now we saw the different kind of heat transfer and their resistance. So suppose, especially this lump heat capacity analysis is used for the problem where we observe the quenching effect. You might be know that quenching process where we dip any hot object into the quenching oil or coolant. So during quenching process, the heat transfer or that kind of heat transfer analysis is under the head of lump heat capacity method. Now suppose there is one container having some liquid, and imagine there is a one sphere, and that sphere is inserted into this liquid. Let me start again. Suppose that sphere is heated up to some high temperature, and then for quenching we inserted into this fluid. So now what happened? Suppose I am going to measure a temperatures. Temperature at suppose a bottom point and temperature at top point. Is there any difference? Anyone please reply. Or bottom and top, both point temperature will be the same. Anyone? It is a huge size sphere ball. So I will start again. Now clearly watch that hot high temperature spherical object sphere is inserted into this liquid. Okay, now closely observe. So first bottom part will come in a contact of fluid and continuously come in a contact of fluid until complete sphere submerge into the liquid. That's means this bottom part is come in a convective medium for a long time. That means since it touches the liquid, heat transfer started from bottom, correct? And when it completely submerged, then after this top part will start convecting out the heat. So in that comparison, this bottom temperature will be lesser than this top, because this bottom part come in contact of liquid for a long time. So there will be definitely a temperature difference from bottom and top. So bottom will be at lesser temperature, top will be at higher temperature, because this top surface uh, in a liquid medium for a shorter time as compared to bottom. So in this sphere, there will be a conductive resistance, and we know that what is the formula for conductive resistance? L upon Ka, correct? And outside of this sphere, there will be a convective resistance, that is 1 upon Ha. Now imagine same kind of liquid is there, but now I am using a very small size sphere, that just like a spherical steel ball bearings. So small kind of steel ball is there. Now this whole mass of this steel ball is so small as compared to this previous one. Even though bottom surface come in a contact first, but its overall mass is smaller as compared to first, so it quickly dissipate heat. And if you are going to measure top and bottom temperature, so there will be no change. Both top and bottom temperature will be at the same temperature level. Why? Because it is having so small mass, so it rapidly dissipate heat and reach to the same temperature all over the surface of sphere. But if the mass is larger, then the condition will be different. At different point, temperature will be different. So here also, there is a thermal resistance, but the mass of the spherical ball is so small. So thermal resistance will be negligible. That means almost zero. So inside the spherical ball, thermal resistance is assumed almost zero, but outside there will be still convective resistance 1 upon HA. So lump heat capacity actually work for this second diagram, where we assume thermal resistance inside the object is negligible, that means almost zero, but there is only outside surface resistance, that is convective resistance. For normal treatment, in normal treatment, we know that there is a sphere, then thermal resistance, then outside convection resistance, and we solve such kind of problems in unit 2. Sphere in a surrounding fluid, convective fluid, correct? But in a lump system analysis, we neglecting internal resistance and assuming it is zero, but there is only outside convective resistance. So lump system is for such kind of quenching process only. The temperature distribution in the ball would depends on the thermal conductivity of the ball material and the heat transfer condition from the surface of the ball to the surrounding fluid. We should obtain a reasonable uniform temperature distribution in the ball if the resistance to the heat transfer by conduction were small as compared to convection resistance at the surface. That means we are choosing so small object that the conduction resistance is negligible, almost zero, and there is only convection resistance. The lump heat capacity analysis is one that assume the internal conductive resistance of the body is negligible in comparison with the external surface convective resistance. That means thermal resistance is very less as compared to convection resistance, and in lump system L by Ka we are assuming zero. Now if there is zero resistance, that means at every point of that object temperature will be same, because there is no change in temperature as resistance is negligible. Now temperature distribution, the main derivation for such system, temperature distribution in lump heat capacity analysis. So till now the idea is clear. What is lump heat capacity analysis? The lump heat capacity analysis is the one where we assume internal conduction resistance zero, negligible, as compared to external convective resistance. The lump heat capacity analysis is one that assumes the internal conductive resistance of body is negligible in comparison with the external surface convective resistance. So convective heat transfer. Now imagine if in such condition heat is transferring to surrounding fluid. So convective heat transfer must be equal to decrease in internal energy per unit time, because whatever be that spherical ball, even though it is a small in size, but it having some internal energy. If we are hitting that to some temperature and then after we are quenching into a fluid, so convective heat transfer must be equal to decrease in internal energy of that object. Now we know convective transfer formula, Newton's law, is HA, T minus T infinity, where H is convective coefficient, A is surface area, T is temperature of that object, and T infinity is the temperature of surrounding fluid. And this must be equal to decrease in internal energy. Now internal energy, we know that mCp delta T. Now so M mass. So mass is elaborated in terms of density and volume. So M will be rho into V. So M C delta T, but per unit time. So MCP delta T, and it is decreasing. So we are showing negative sign. So rho Vc dt per unit time, change in temperature per unit time. Now we are rearranging this. So we are shifting rho Vc on left hand side, this change in time dt on left hand side with a negative sign. So we get a form minus HA upon rho Vc dt is equals to dt. This is a change in temperature divided by T minus T infinity. Now we have this form, temperatures and time. Now we will integrate this. So on integrating, we get 1 upon T minus T infinity. So integration of 1 upon T minus T infinity will be ln of T minus T infinity. This whole term is a constant. So after integration of dt, we get a small t, that is time, plus constant of integration C1. Now we are interested to find out the value of C1, then our equation will be completed. So till now we have this equation, ln of T minus T infinity is equals to minus HA rho Vc time plus C1. At time 0, that means when we start counting a time when our object is inserted into the fluid. If time is 0, that means it is not inserted or submerged into the fluid. So time is 0, then temperature will be the initial temperature of that object. So Ti. Suppose that sphere is heated up to 100 degrees centigrade, and then after I put it into a quenching bath. As soon as it is submerged into that fluid, its temperature decreasing. Why decreasing? Because heat is convected out by surrounding fluid, so internal energy get decreased, so temperature will reduce. But if at time 0, that means when I am not putting that object into the liquid, that means that object remain at its initial temperature. So when time is 0, temperature of object will be T initial. So putting this condition, ln of T become Ti, initial temperature. So ln of Ti minus T infinity. When time is 0, so whole term becomes 0 plus C1. So hence we get the value of C1. C1 is ln of Ti minus T infinity, where Ti is the initial temperature when we heated that object and it not to submerge into the fluid, that is its initial temperature. Now putting this value C1 into our main equation is this one, putting the value of C1 as ln of Ti minus T infinity. So our equation become like this. C1 is replaced by ln of Ti minus T infinity. Now we will rearrange and taking a temperature terms on one side. So it will become ln of T minus T infinity minus, when I shift this, so it become minus ln of Ti minus T infinity is equals to minus HA rho Vc time. Now this is in a minus form, so we can rearrange ln of T minus T infinity upon Ti minus T infinity. In these temperatures, this T stand for temperature of that object for particular time. T infinity stand for surrounding fluid temperature. Ti, it is stand for initial temperature of that object before submerge into any fluid. So this T will be changed if time is changed. So this T corresponding to this time. Now to remove this ln, I will take a exponential. So after exponential, I get the relation that T minus T infinity upon Ti minus T infinity is equals to e raised to the power this whole thing e raised to the power minus HA rho Vc into time. Many times this formula can be rearranged as e raised to the power h rho Lc into C multiplied by this time. What is this Lc? So Lc is known as characteristic length, and characteristic length is calculated as V upon A. So V is a volume, A is a surface area. Why we require a characteristic length? Because if there is a plate, so we can easily find out the plate length. But if there is a sphere, then how to calculate the length of sphere? So in that situation, we don't calculate the length of sphere, we calculate the characteristic length of the sphere. So characteristic length can be for any kind of object, any shape, any geometry. Just remember, characteristic length is equals to volume upon surface area. So for sphere, even though it is a spherical, we can find out the length of sphere, but that length is called as a characteristic length. And it is universal formula, characteristic length is volume upon surface area. So either use this formula or characteristic length formula, we can find out the respective temperature for corresponding time. Now with this main formula, there are some other formulas also. First is for Biot number and denoted by B suffix I, Biot number. Now what is the Biot number? Biot number is the ratio of internal conductive resistance of the body to the external surface convective resistance to heat transfer. So formula is Biot number is internal conductive resistance, external convective resistance. Now we know internal conductive resistance is L upon Ka, but here we will not put simply L length because that object might be a sphere. So in that case we put Lc, characteristic length. So L by Ka is a internal conductive resistance and external convective resistance is 1 upon Ha. Now on simplifying, so A get cancel and rearranging this, so Biot number will be HLC upon K. This is the formula of Biot number. Remember this H is 1 upon H, so if I shift to numerator, so it become HLC and this K will be in a denominator to this. So Biot number formula will be HLC upon K. And each time for every numerical under lump heat capacity analysis, we have to use this formula, Biot number HLC upon K. And the system consider for the lump heat capacity analysis only when Biot number is equals to or less than 0.1. It means if Biot number is greater than this, then we have to use our conventional method where we consider internal thermal resistance, external convective resistance, then we find out total resistance and find out the rate of heat transfer, like that. But if a Biot number is less than or equal to 0.1, in that condition we have to attempt that numerical by using lump heat system. And if we are considering lump heat system, that means we are neglecting internal resistance. In short, when Biot number is lesser than 0.1, that means our object is very, very small and its thermal resistance is almost zero. So for every numerical, we have to check this Biot number condition. If it is satisfied, then we will go for lump heat system. Otherwise, we have to solve that numerical according to our previous formulas. That is belongs to unit 1 and unit 2. Second number is a Fourier number. Now Fourier number, it is the ratio of rate of heat conductance to the rate of thermal energy stored in the body. So Fourier number, rate of heat conductance to the rate of heat stored. Now what is conductance? So conductance is nothing but a reciprocal of resistance. So 1 upon resistance is nothing but a conductance. So 1 upon resistance. So resistance is L upon K. So 1 upon L upon Ka, so it will be changed in the form of Ka upon Lc. And rate of heat stores, so rho Vc per unit time. Now simplify this. So what is Lc? Characteristic length. So characteristic length is denoted by V upon surface area. So V will be Lc into A. So we are going to replace this V, denominator V, by Lc upon A. So numerator Ka upon Lc, denominator rho Lca C, specific heat per unit time. Now on rearranging, A get cancel, Lc become Lc square. So our Fourier formula will be Kt. This T is a time, K is thermal conductivity. So Fourier number is Kt upon rho Lc square C, specific heat. Now, if you remember, K upon rho C is nothing but a thermal diffusivity. So many times in numerical, they don't provide a separate data rho C K. They directly provide a data of thermal diffusivity. In that case, we can write Fourier number as alpha T upon Lc square, because K rho C become alpha. So Fourier number will be alpha T upon Lc square. Now there is another one term, dimensionless time. The lump heat capacity analysis temperature distribution will be given like this. This is our main formula, where dimensionless time means this whole bracket power. So H upon rho Lc C into T. This is a dimensionless time. Now we will rearrange this. First multiply and divide by Lc. So the actual value of this dimensionless time will not be changed. We are multiplying and divide by Lc only. So this become Ht Lc upon rho Lc square C. Now we will multiply and divide by K, thermal conductivity. So our formula become H Lc upon K. Second part Kt rho Lc square C. So we using both K at different brackets. Now this first bracket H Lc upon K and Kt rho Lc square upon rho Lc square C. So this first bracket is nothing but a Biot number. Second bracket is nothing but a Fourier number. So Biot number, Fourier number. So we can replace H rho LCC into T, this whole term, by Biot number and Fourier number, because many times they don't provide any data regarding all these parameters. They provide directly Biot number and Fourier number. So we can replace this power term by Biot number and Fourier number. So our formula can be changed. T minus T infinity upon Ti minus T infinity is equals to e raised to the power minus Biot number, Fourier number. So such kind of numericals previously asked by university 2 or 3 times, but derivation, it is frequently asked. There is questions like prove this, T minus T infinity upon Ti minus T infinity is equals to e raised to the power minus Biot number, Fourier number. So we have to prove, and final form will be this. So we have to start from our first derivation point and reach to this Biot number form. Now the last part, we will see one numerical. A steel ball, C value is given 0.46 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, and rho value is given 7800 kg per meter cube, and K is 35 watt per meter Kelvin. So all these properties are of this steel ball. A steel ball 5 centimeter in diameter and initially at a uniform temperature of 450 degrees centigrade. So this will be Ti. Is suddenly placed in a control environment. Why control? Because that bath, It may be a oil bath or water bath. So its temperature not going to change. So it is a control environment in which the temperature is maintained at 100 degrees centigrade. So this is T infinity, 100 degrees centigrade. The convection heat transfer coefficient H value is 10. Calculate the time required for the ball to attain a temperature of 150 degrees centigrade. Now we have steel ball. So steel ball, obviously the object is sphere. C value is given, rho value is given, K thermal conductivity is given, diameter is 5 centimeter, initial temperature 450 degrees centigrade, infinity temperature, that is surrounding temperature 100, H value is given, and it is asked to attain 150 degrees centigrade, how much time is required. It means initially that sphere is at 450 degrees centigrade. When it is deep into the fluid, so it will start losing its temperature, and after some particular time it will reach to 150 degrees centigrade. So we have to find out how much time it takes to reach 150. If we leave that sphere for more time, definitely it will lose further and it will reach 200 degree and come in a equilibrium temperature with the surrounding fluid. Now, whenever we have such problem regarding our third unit, we must check whether this is applicable for lump heat system or for regular formulas. So check for lump system analysis. So Biot number is HLC upon K, where for sphere, what is the characteristic length? So volume upon surface area. Volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube and surface area is 4 pi r square. So after simplifying, we get volume upon surface area is r upon 3, and we know what is the diameter, 5 centimeters. So accordingly, r will be d by 2 upon 3. D is known, so characteristic length will be 0.00833 meter. So we know what is the characteristic length. H value is given, K value is given. So we will put all the values and get the value of Biot number. Biot number is 0.00238, and it is definitely lesser than 0.1. So it shows that we can assess this numerical under lump heat capacity analysis. As Biot number is less than 0.1 and satisfying lump heat capacity analysis applicability, thus problem can be solved using lump system analysis method. Remember, for this particular check, there is separate 2 marks. Even though it is not mentioned in your numerical, but if you miss this kind of check and this statement, justification statement, then you will lose 2 marks. Okay, so this is mandatory to check for Biot number. Now we come to conclusion that Biot number is less than 0.1 and we can go with a lump heat capacity analysis method. Now lump heat capacity analysis method, we know the formula. All the data given in a temperature form, so we will use this. Again, they given a data in H, rho, LC, C format, so we will use this form. Otherwise, we will go for Biot number, Fourier number format also. So T is the temperature. Temperature become 150, and we have to find out time. So we put here all the temperature in Kelvin. You may change into degree centigrade because it is just a difference. So 150, that is 423 Kelvin minus surrounding 100, 373. Then 450 degrees centigrade initial temperature minus again surrounding is equals to e raised to the power H10 rho 460. It is sorry, this is C value. So 460 kilojoule, I converted into joule. Rho is 7800 and characteristic length, it is 0.00833. Now on simplifying, we get this relation. Now we are interested in time. So we will take ln on both sides. So ln of 0.1429 is equals to minus 0.0003346 t. Now answer of this, it will be minus 1.9456. Both side there is a negative term, so definitely it is going to get cancelled. So ultimately time, and this t is in a basic unit, and basic unit for time is a second. So answer will be in a second. Then after we can convert into minute or hours also. So t is 5814.7 second, and if I convert into minutes, so it is 96.91 minute. So this is our answer. That means the object which is initially at 450 degrees centigrade, after dipping into a quenching bath, it reach 150 degrees centigrade, and to attain this 150 degree centigrade it requires 96.91 minute. So such kind of problem may be given in a reverse direction. They provide a time and they ask how much will be the temperature after this much time. Okay, so this is the only one formula we are going to use throughout the unit, but whenever we are using this we have to check for Biot number.